All right, our next speaker is actually a Southlake resident. He is a physician, so we get to hear from an actual doctor. Undergrad degree from Baylor, doctorate from Texas Tech, and his business is Valiant Anesthesia. Please welcome Dr. Grady Robbins.
Thank y'all for having me out here today. 4 days ago, we remembered the thousands that have made the ultimate sacrifice to provide the very freedom that we so often take for granted. Those soldiers and their families did not give everything so that we could then turn around and give those freedoms to a government that has proven that it may not have its citizens' best interest at heart. Our words and actions must honor those men and women and the legacy they leave behind. Unfortunately, I hear the most dangerous words I've heard in a long time, almost hourly now, as I walk through this reopening phase. It's not coronavirus or pandemic or Fauci or even liberal. It's new normal. These are the words that we as American citizens and especially Texans must fight starting today and every day going forward. These are the words that fearful citizens and leaders will use over these coming days, weeks, and months as they subtly try to soften our resolve. They will slowly try to take away our God-given freedoms. They will use these words as they try to enact a contact tracing program that goes against everything we as free Americans believe in. They will use these words as an attempt to access our personal medical data to trace individuals, movements, even though I could have sworn that there's this thing called HIPAA that protects all the citizens from governments and others being involved in their individual health care without consent. They will use these words to make us comfortable in our new shackles of social distancing. Let me tell you, there is no such thing as the new normal. We have to remove that terminology from our vocabulary before people truly start to believe the sacrifice of freedom is acceptable. We cannot become fatigued and must lead from the trenches as we battle each day against the onslaught of misinformation that is thrown at us from every side. We must fight our way back to the true normal. We as a society must start to function normally again as fast as possible. One of my biggest fears in this process is that we'll develop yet another population that starts demanding their rights supersede the rights of others. That group would be the new normals. They'll demand we wear masks to help their fear. They'll demand social distancing across the board. They'll try to change the very fabric of sports in America, including youth sports, to provide themselves some modicum of peace about their own well-being, despite what it does to those around them. We as Americans, Texans, parents, leaders, and Christians must fight the pervasive fear movement and the demand of the new normals. We must not allow a society to exist where someone can be denied service for not wearing a mask, but another must provide a service that goes against their very foundational beliefs. We must not allow government entities to dictate what physicians believe is best practice and best treatment options for their patients. What kind of society is it that deems abortion clinics to be essential businesses while saying privately owned small businesses and houses of worship must shut their doors? We must be respectful of our neighbors and love them, but they must realize our rights don't stop where they believe they do. We must show them that living in fear is in no way compatible with living in peace. We have a sovereign God. He knew all this was going to happen. He's walking with his children to help us through this challenge. We must look to his word, seek his guidance through prayer and conversation with fellow believers in order to lead from our knees as we fight to bring America and Texas back to prosperity, and hopefully instead of a new normal, we can experience a new revival.